Peace out.
That's my favorite record. We were at in the prime of our lives. I think I was 22, 23 tops. The mindset for us was just like, we made our first record, which was successful, way more successful than I thought it would be. But the fact that we got a chance to make a second record on a major label, I felt like, wow, if everybody liked that, we're gonna make something that's just like way beyond that. And I feel like we did that with that record. We stretched our influences, everything, just like stretched out from that point.
The experience we had making that record was a great experience.
I really love this record so much. If I love it this much, I mean, hopefully our fans are just gonna love it just as much as I do.
I was probably angrier than I've ever been in my life, but I was probably happier than I've ever been in my life. On every emotion, it was like the pinnacle of all those emotions. And that record was very dynamic for those reasons. Like some of the saddest parts on that record are really sad. Some of the angry parts on that record are, I don't know if I can ever be that angry again. Fuck, I was mad and scathing on some things that I was saying on it, but I meant it.
The music is actually a side effect of all of our friendships. I mean, that's just what we do as friends. When we all get together and hang out, that's what we do. If we're writing music, most of the time in our session is us just hanging out. I mean, we'll jam here and there, get into a couple arguments, smoke some weed, drink some drinks, jam some more, and be like, all right, I'm tired, see you guys tomorrow. Repeat.
Very confident, knowing that what each one of us had to offer individually and together collectively as a band was like, couldn't be fucked with. There wasn't another Stephen, there wasn't another me, there wasn't another Abe, that we're all actually really good friends having this moment in time.
We could be in an extremely emotional, violent yelling match with each other in front of people, and the people would think it's the end of the world, but we'll be fine after we're done. Just let us get it out.
Just like stretched out from that point. I don't think a lot of people don't credit our second record enough to where it really like opened up from being what was then new metal or whatever the new genre was that we were just kind of getting thrown into. I really think we started separating ourselves from all our peers on that record.
My attitude has always been the same. Metal is just metal. We started writing, and at the time, Chi was living in San Diego, and that was kind of like a bummer because we had, wait till he come back up, and we had all kinds of like silly arguments back then. He swore up and down he was going to be an English teacher, and we're just like, oh, all right, great, but what about this? We're out here already. I was like, can you worry about that later? He wasn't actually pursuing it so much, more than he just like he would throw that at us, like that was his fallback for why he wasn't rushing up right then. So we just started jamming, me and Abe on our own, because I was excited. I had a lot of ideas.
Terry Day produced that record, and he did our first record too. We'd hired him because of Pantera. At that point, those were like the heaviest, most like piercingly great records. So we hired him because of that, but then we sort of like tied his hands behind his back because we told him, okay, we love this, we love you because of this, but we don't want it to sound like Pantera. We just want to record it raw. So it didn't sound anything like a Pantera record, but it kind of sounded shitty. So with Round the Fur, that's kind of like where we kind of came to that sort of epiphany where we don't want it to sound like a garage fucking record. We want it to sound big, but we don't want it to sound corny. What we accomplished on that record was the drum sounds, the way the vocals were produced. It was warm, but it was heavy, and it was something new. It was something original.
That was our second time in Seattle. We did Adrenaline. We did that at Bad Animals in Seattle. Around the Fur we did over at Studio Litho. Well, the album covers, it was just a pick from any random party we had. We'd leave the studio at night. We'd go down to Bricktown and hit the bar, shoot some pool, get our drink on, get fucking hammered, and then roll back to our apartment. Some nights, we would see the day start again, be like, oh damn, we should have went to bed. Now we got to be at the studio. When the hell? Just being foolish. But it's the experience. I had a great time. I can't frown upon it. My Own Summer's a song that gets played every show practically, no matter what. That song, we didn't even have it when we went into the studio to make it. We wrote that song in the studio. We had already exhausted everything we had. I'm just sitting around smoking bong hits, and Terry's like, get out there and write a song. And I'm like, all right. Just, you know, just, all right, let me smoke another bowl. I gotta get it right. That's the song of being forced to write a song. Turns out it was pretty good. And I smoked myself into an oblivion and then just sat there. All slow motion, just coming up with notes that sounded good in the sequence. I was like, oh yeah, these are working. And then right after that, Around the Fur came like that either that same day or the next day. Ricketts came pretty close to right after that too.
There's songs like Head Up, which is the one we did with Max Cavalera, which is like, you know, written on the spot pretty much.
Max came into the studio and to do a song with us. And he came with that idea.
It's just like a riff that's almost like, it's like Inner Salmon or something, which is like, everybody just kind of like, is kind of hypnotized by this riff, and it's like, it's infectious in that way, you know, like where if we play it, people move. We just played with Guns N' Roses. We just did like 2 shows with them in stadiums. We went on at like a 6:15, you know, so it's light outside. The stadium's maybe half full, if that. But even still, there's like, you know, 12,000 people there. We still had My Own Summer in the set, and that was one song, you know, that like where I don't play guitar, and that's just like kind of bombastic to the point where like it's got these dynamics, these highs and lows. So even if the crowd wasn't like engaged in it, I'm like, there's something that happens when these dudes are playing this riff. I'm just captivated by it myself, and I'm screaming until my blood vessels burst in my forehead. Sure enough, I get off stage and I got all these broken blood vessels in my head from just screaming whatever so hard. And it wasn't because of the crowd was so into it. It was just like I hear the song and it just still gets me, fucking makes me want to scream.
It was a great time. It was a great experience. It could be a cliche sophomore experience, you know, however you want to define it, but it was absolutely a good time. Everyone had fun. The result of that exciting time was a record that I think everybody felt truly stoked about making.